Hello and welcome. My name is OJ Stellar. This is my channel and here we go. Got a lot of ground to cover today. A lot of fraudulent ground. I have had an insane week of my life. I was completely scammed by this yoga retreat that I went on, the silent retreat that I was so excited about. Completely a scam. It was like the Fire Festival of silent retreats. And I will be going into it in detail. And then narrowly escaping, my demise at this scam / bamboozle factory, I come home and it comes to my attention that I need to get a lawyer because the woman of the last venue that the download was at decided to make a lawyer necessary. So getting scammed by two women who I thought had my best interest in mind in 1 week has me wondering, are men not that bad? Let's just start off with shout out to my friend, Natasha Collier. She really wanted to go on a yoga retreat with me. I know her from improv class. We've taken 3 improv classes together. She also does stand-up, and we've gone to a couple of yoga classes together, and that's kind of the vibe. So I was like a little on the fence about it, but I was like, oh, it's a silent retreat. I've never done a silent retreat before, and she's never done any retreat before. So I was like, I love Joshua Tree. Let's just send it, right? And like, I've been on other retreats with a comparable price point, and they were incredible. So I was expecting to have a wonderful time. Let me just hit you with a couple of bullet points here. The retreat was not at a retreat center as advertised. It was at a random Airbnb in Joshua Tree in a random ass neighborhood residential street. They promised us 3 freshly cooked Ayurvedic vegan meals a day. We got shitty takeout twice a day, okay? Everybody is hungry. And I will be inserting photos. Like, what the f is that? Are you kidding me? Honestly, oh my God, getting that first meal in the morning, I think everyone was just like woke up and happy that they weren't murdered. So anything would taste good at that point. But that soggy green wrap was tough. And in what world is that breakfast? Also, okay, in what world do you show up to a yoga retreat and there's no one there? The alarm bells were going ringy dingy dingy. Oh, mind you, I really wanted to drive myself, and Natasha really wanted to carpool, which I understand that's eco-friendly and a chance to bond, and I didn't want to do it because I had a feeling that I was going to feel stuck there. But she wore me down. She did. And you know what? I have no regrets in the end because I had to lead the resistance at the Fire Festival of silent retreats. But okay, if I had my own car, I would have gone home upon arrival. Let's just say that. And I immediately start taking girls one by one. I'm like, this is kind of like Black Mirror. The teachers show up and we all think that those are the hosts, but they're like, where are the hosts? And we're like, we don't know. We don't know anything. Bless the teacher's heart. They did their best because they basically had to like host the retreat. And mind you, there's like, besides me and one other woman, it was everybody's first yoga retreat. Like, these women, some women traveled across country, left their families, took time off of work for this. I don't even want to tell you how much we paid. $1,800. $1,800. I think that I cracked first because I work for myself, I didn't like have to take time off of work. I mean, I did, but it's like not the same thing. It's not like I had to choose. I get 1 week a year to like not be in an office. And I'm an SEX worker. So like, if you think I'm gonna take a scam lying down, you are out of your goddamn mind. And like, when something feels wrong, leave it to a sex worker to like not be able to let it go. Top 3 problems are there's no host. No one from, I'm gonna call it Sun Juice. And the sleuths can figure out what I mean by that. If not sun, maybe. If not juice, maybe blank of the fruits of the gods. And I'll leave it at that. The top 3 problems at this Sun Juice women's silent retreat. Number 1, no host, no one there to greet you. Problem number 2, we were promised 3 freshly cooked Ayurvedic vegan meals a day, and we got shitty takeout twice a day. Problem number 3, we all thought it was going to be at a legitimate retreat center. The photos online were all fake. They used fake photos to advertise this retreat. It's like at a random house. I walked in and saw a neon sign on the wall and said, no, 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 no. No. Was there a jacuzzi? Yes. Was that a saving grace of the trip? Yeah. Absolutely. But okay, so I walk in the door and I'm like, okay. I just knew that we were getting scammed, like off rip. And my friend Natasha, like, bless her heart, she's like just trying to stay positive the whole time. But it was kind of making me feel crazy because I was like, there's no way that you think this is good. Like, there's just no way. So like in the first hour, I'm calling the one number that we have, like the one point of contact that we have is Jamie. And I did like a pre-retreat, you know, phone call with this person named Jamie. She was so like, wow, like what makes you want to step into silence? And I'd be like, oh, like I'm a comedian. I just want to like shut the hell up for a minute and, you know, rest and relax and heal. And she was like, wow, thank you so much for sharing. I don't think that person really exists or is a part of Sun Juice at all. So I am texting this point of contact, the retreat concierge, and I'm like, are y'all showing up or what? And they were basically like, no. So I'm calling, and tell me why. I'm calling Jamie. Tell me why a man answers me. And I said, why are you a man? It's a woman's only retreat. Why is the only point of contact a man? And why is that man going to immediately start gaslighting me, blaming me, saying that I just can't handle the silence? You gotta hand it to him. Like, a silent retreat is such a good scam because at every corner, every minute of every day, I was confronted with confusion and bamboozlement. And I would be like texting and expressing that, and they'd be like, remember, this is supposed to be a digital pause. I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to look at my phone. But a bitch is hungry, a bitch is confused, and a bitch knows she is being scammed. I created an alliance with the 2 teachers, and I created an alliance with the massage therapist. So the teachers, Nidra yoga instructor and kundalini instructor, are both like contracted out. And from my knowledge, they still have not been paid. There was just heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of issues. Day 1, I'm talking to Jamie. He ends up talking over to me to the point where then I escalate, he escalates, he hangs up on me. I walk back into the house. I'm like, okay, well, he just hung up on me, so this is crazy. And I could tell people were kind of like looking at me like, all right, like we're all trying to chill. Everyone just like got off of a travel day, and I was like, okay, deep in my heart, I know that this is wrong, all the way wrong. And I know that I'm gonna have to like do something about this. But right now, these women just got off planes. They've left their homes, families, jobs. I don't want to like make it even worse. So I excused myself and laid down and stared at the ceiling for a little bit. And then we had a cacao ceremony, which was really sweet. Like, the teachers did such a good job, even though they're not being paid, they're not being given any information. And they were told that there was going to be a host. We were told there was going to be a host. Where's the host? And every time I'd bring that up, they were like, you know, this is a really good opportunity to discover resiliency and self-reliance and silence. Remember, be silent, silent. Okay, so let's move on to day 2. It's so hot outside that we can't have the yoga classes outside. It's the desert. It's Joshua Tree. It's so hot. There's not a single umbrella, mind you. So we have to do the yoga class inside, move the couch in the living room, and have a yoga class inside in the living room. I was really struggling. Like, I was like at my wit's end. And, you know, at one point I was just like, just fucking deal with it. And I like reached my arm up you know, as instructed as a part of the practice. And my hand hits the TV. And I said, okay, all right, where's Ashton? What is happening here? So I leave. I call my girl Sydney, who like her and I have been on retreats together multiple times. And I called her and I was like, if I'm tripping right now. And she's like, I can already tell you're not. What the hell is going on? And, you know, she just like validates my feelings because everybody there was trying to live, laugh, love through it. And I felt like I missed the Kool-Aid. Like, I'm like, did everyone else get dosed with the cacao and I missed it? Like, what's happening? So it was so insane. And this was like my breaking point. And I didn't have my car. So I'm like really losing it. And I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. But I called Jamie again, and it was quite the conversation. He's yelling at me. I'm yelling at him. And you know what? I did end the phone call with saying, you're going to be haunted for the rest of your life. Allegedly, I said that. Why are you as a man using therapy and like yogi speak to like gaslight me, blame me for y'all not feeding us? Why is it? He's like, we've been doing this for years. We've never had a problem like you. Stop being adversarial. Everyone else is having the time of their life. No one else has an issue with this. And I was like, okay, well, I feel in my taint that everybody is having a huge issue with this. So I'm like, I'm out of here. Packing my shit. And then the teachers come out and they're talking to me and they're like, OJ, really, like, don't leave. I know you're feeling triggered. I'm like, I'm feeling like someone's gonna pull the trigger on me. And I was like, I get it, but I need to leave. And they're like, if you leave, they win. And at this point, Natasha cracks and like admits like, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's not what we signed up for. I think she was really experiencing like sunk cost and felt really bad because she found the retreat, right? And like, convinced me to drive with her. So they convinced me to stay. And that's when I'm like, if I'm staying here, I'm breaking the silence. Like, I need to know that everybody feels the same way as me, or I can't stay here. Like, if everyone is okay with this treatment, I can't be sharing dream space with these people. So, you know, the silence is broken. Now all the women are talking to each other. And it felt like such a symbolic thing of like, you know, women's consciousness raising groups of the 70s. And like when women speak to each other, like we all become so empowered and, you know, we realize that our experience isn't insular and like we're all feeling and thinking the same things. Like everybody was researching sun juice and, you know, seeing if we were getting scammed. We are. So all the women start talking to each other. Thank God. It's like the tension is done. You know, I'm proud of myself for breaking the silence. Sometimes you have to be the resistance you want to see at the yoga retreat. Sometimes you got to be the mutiny. And y'all know I can't STFU in the face of injustice. And a silent retreat is no exception. So we all start talking, and listen, like Natasha and I are basically both professional clowns as stand-up comedians, right? But all the other women, there was a neuroscientist, there was an attorney for Google, there was a cloud salesperson for Google, there was an anesthesiologist, like all women in STEM. So I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better that like, you know, we got scammed by the AI photos and the fake people. Like, so insane. Okay, so now the tension is broken. The ice has been shattered. And I feel like we all feel a little bit relieved. And everyone's like, I thought we were going to be killed. Because it's like, we show up to this Airbnb for this Sun Juice retreat. No one from Sun Juice is there. But they have the codes to the house. And they're giving us like fake numbers to call and call centers. And it's just like insane. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. But okay, so now it's the last full day. And we have a kundalini class in the morning. And the instructor, she's like, I feel like I want to open up to you ladies and say that, you know, my day job, I am a police officer. The way we all were like, what? The kundalini cop? I did not see the kundalini cop coming. I could not have written that. Like, that is so, white turban, right? Like the most woo-woo, culty, Yogi Bhajan ass shit of all time. Kundalini, it's chanting, it's like repetitive motions and chanting. The Kundalini cop story arc is so insane. It's wild. Okay, so let's fast forward to, it's the last night. We ordered wine to the house. You know, we took a little bit of mushroom, we took a little bit of joint, just trying to have a good time in the last night. And I feel like the pop goes the weasel. Pop goes the tea. The tea is being spilled now while I'm spitting. And truth is being spat. You know, we're all in the hot tub. Okay, this is after the cord cutting ceremony, where at the cord cutting ceremony, everyone was like, and fuck sun juice. I was like, wow, everyone really came full circle. No one's trying to live, love, laugh through this scam anymore. And thank God. And thank God. Are you okay? The people at Sun Juice wanted me gone. So we're in the hot tub. It's the last night. The Kundalini cop says, you know, OJ, I have to tell you something. They called me today and they said, OJ's a problem. You need to get rid of her. And the other instructor was like, yeah, they really wanted us to kick you out. I was like, after y'all convinced me to stay? That's crazy. So the Kundalini cop looks at me dead in my eyes, and this is in front of the whole group. And she's like, they wanted you gone. It felt like they wanted me to kill you for real. And I said, sorry, what? A police officer is telling me what? I was like, you're joking. She was like, no. It felt like they were telling me to kill you. And like, if I didn't do it, they were going to send somebody to the house. And I was like, what? What are you saying? What do you mean you thought someone was going to come to the house and pick me off? What? That was a hard night of sleep for me. But I think that everyone had a huge transformation and alchemized the experience as much as they could. I just think it wasn't what anybody was hoping for or expecting. I did get the owner of Sun Juice's number through the massage therapist because I created an alliance with them. And she ignored my texts and calls for like a day and a half. And then never once picked up the phone. Not once. And not only did she gaslight me, use yogi speak, and tell me to just step into silence like Jamie did, I was like, is this your first retreat? Like, what's going on? Is this company real? Is any of this real? Because it's clear the social media is not real. And it's clear that the photos on book retreats were not real. And it's clear that you don't care about our experience at all, you know? And coming from someone who's like constantly dealing with scams, with catfish that are scamming my fans and all of that, I was just like, I just have a very low tolerance policy for this type of thing. And she proceeds to trauma dump on me via text saying that she lost her mother. And then when she was pregnant, her dad took his own life. And I'm like, this is so inappropriate. Like, why are you telling me this? And how is it relevant? Like, how is any of this have to do with the fact that you're scamming 7 women at a women's retreat right now? Like, what? So, you know, we make it out safely. Thank the Lord. And then I get home. And I'm so relieved to like come home and be safe, but also like I am so hungry, as y'all saw in my last clip of my last video. I'll insert it. Yeah, your girl was looking and feeling rough, okay? But I was just hungry and tired. And then I went to sleep and I woke up the next day to realize, oh, wait, I'm being scammed by another woman. You know, sometimes in business, like you work with a woman and you think it's going to be like great, but then they end up being worse than a man and it hurts way more because it is a woman. And like a woman, like putting you in unsafe situations, not caring, you know, not listening to you. Moved on, and I'm talking about the downloads last venue now. There were like 12 and a half red flags before the final straw happened, when we were like, okay, we were already like waiting and wanting to find a new venue basically since like the first show. But you know, the final straw was strewn, and we found a new venue, and we respectfully were like, okay, we wish you all the best. I think that it would be better for everyone if we moved on, and you know, we'll be doing our weekly show at a different venue now, but again, like, wish you the best, and just, you know, we're just waiting on our last payment for the show. And she never paid us, and we were gonna just like forget about it. But then, and this is right after coming home from the silent retreat, the Fire Festival silent retreat scam. Your girl cannot catch a break. Turns out she never took down the Eventbrite or the Hoopla where we were selling tickets to our show at her venue. So she had been selling tickets this whole time, even though she said she would take it down and that she would pay us. So she didn't do either of those things. Okay, you know, Kate and I are always down to give someone the benefit of the doubt. But okay, so we were like, all right, she's never gonna pay us, like, whatever, keep the $200, you know, as long as it means you're gonna like leave us alone. But no. And here's the thing, like, this woman has the worst reputation that I've ever heard of in the entertainment industry at all. Like, as a venue person, so many people warned Kate and I about working with her, but we were like, oh, they probably just are saying that because she's a woman. Like, let's give her a chance. And not only did she prove all those people right, but times a million. Like, so she created a StubHub, she created a Viagogo, she created all these other fraudulent links to sell tickets to the download at her venue, which is, that show doesn't exist. We're doing it at Zero Lounge now in Hollywood. Thank God, it's such a cool venue, blah, blah, blah. So you know what? And then we were like, wait, feels like really wrong and like possibly illegal and like harassment, and like she's like fucking up our SEO. So when you Googled the Download Comedy Show, like all of her fraudulent links showed up. And so we got an entertainment lawyer, and the lawyer was like, oh, there's 5 illegal things happening here simultaneously. So you know what? We got that cease and desist. And let me tell you, I think that is like the most empowering thing I've ever done. The way I could have used a cease and desist on certain people who made viral TikToks about me, slandering me, lying and defaming me, blaming me for the actions of a man. I send love and compassion to my younger self. But I'm just so glad to be in my 30s and feel empowered. Like when somebody wrongs me, I feel empowered to step up to that instead of like shrinking about it, or, you know, because with the TikTok drama, like I was getting thousands of death threats, like the worst possible thing happening. And I just got super depressed and like stopped eating and like isolated myself from everybody, and I had just moved to LA. I had no friends. Like it was a bad situation. But like if only I had just lawyered up and got a cease and desist and like continued my career, I'd probably have like 7 million followers on TikTok. But you know what? That's not what was supposed to happen. It really wasn't. But so this story is so insane. Like the Fire Festival of the Silent Retreat, to then coming home and needing to get a lawyer immediately. Like, you can't make this shit up, girl. You can't. And like, oh my God, a yoga retreat is such a like bougie and privileged thing to do regardless, and I fully understand that. But like, I've saved up money to go on them, and in the past it was like so amazing and so life-changing. I went to one in Guatemala, I went to one in the Dominican Republic, and it was incredible. And again, like at a similar price point to this scam in Joshua Tree. I'm so grateful that I will always stand up for myself, and that I have no issue being the one to speak up and stand up for other people, especially women, even if the perpetrator is a woman. It was such a breakthrough to be like going on this silent retreat, and then the universe being like, no, you cannot be silent. That's gonna help no one. You actually need to do the opposite. You need to actually like be so loud right now. I feel like there's so much information. I probably left a lot out, but I think my next video, I'm gonna go into all the other times I've been scammed in my life. Because every time it happens, you're like, oh, for sure, this is the last time I'm ever gonna get scammed, right? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad that it's kind of cooling off in LA, and I love you all so much. Please leave a comment. I'll try to respond to each of them. Come to the Download Comedy Show if you're in LA. And yeah, never be afraid to speak up, even if you're at a silent retreat.